Good evening, everybody. We'll start the workshop session, and I'd ask the clerk to please call roll.
Bartlett.
Here.
Cook. She's a nice warm weather in case you guys want. Hopkins.
Here.
Bud.
Here.
Odenental. Aaron Scott.
Here.
Bill Scott. Wankel.
Here.
Wormowski. Williams.
Here.
Mayor Izzard.
Here.
And City Attorney Jr.
Let's see, just one item real quick. I wanted to make sure, I think most of the aldermen will get this in the mail, but Jacksonville Main Street's annual meeting is coming up in a couple weeks. You'll be getting something in the mail, but I ran into Judy Ty at Senator McClure's office opening, and she wanted to make sure that the aldermen know that they're more than welcome. She wants to sell tickets, is what she wants to do. Okay, outside of that, we'll start off with the city attorney's report.
Thank you. A couple of items tonight. First is amending the liquor ordinance. That's just to reduce the number of liquor licenses by one. Shopco is turning theirs back in. They've never used it since they took it out, so we're getting it back. Second item is what we discussed briefly last meeting. The organization that had the vending machines at Community Park by the soccer fields have reached an agreement to assign their interest to the Soccer Association, and you're simply approving that assignment. That contract is up mid-summer, and we'll just put together a new contract for the Soccer Association to continue on. That's all I've got.
City clerk's report.
Go ahead,
The fees.
As in the last meeting, with the new Muni code, the new code for the city, all the fees are now changed through resolution. And so therefore, we've got to put the fees in there for the clerk's office. We put them in there for the liquor license and for the parks and lakes, but we failed to pick up the clerks. So those are, we're putting those into the ordinance. There'll be a resolution to do that. And it's permits and licenses for golf carts, cabs, raffle license.
Itinerant merchants, any of those fees that we had before.
There's a whole bunch of them.
Children's
Yeah,
hospital.
yeah,
There's some.
Yeah.
Bowling alley.
I was reading them going, really?
Yeah. They're all there. They're all there. But that's, we're just making sure that they're in there so that we can continue charging.
Okay. Thank you. On committee reports, a little more, one item to discuss, parks and lakes, Alderman Raymowski.
Kelly's gonna tell us.
All right, Kelly.
Yeah, and Lori just texted me that she wasn't gonna be here, so I am really prepared.
All right.
What's recently happened, DNR has announced, not too long ago, that they had money available for a grant program for recreational trails in the state of Illinois. So, obviously, we want to participate in that and throw our hat in. Anytime there's free money, we certainly wanna apply for it. We put our heads together and we came out what we feel like is the best course of action to take with this grant. And what we'd like to do, as you know, we completed the recreational trail on the north side of the lake from Point 1 all the way around to Pine Point last year. And what we'd like to do is we'd like to continue that from Pine Point to the dam, just that small area that to complete all the way around to the dam. We'd like to utilize gambling funds for that, like we used a little bit last year. And then we're gonna apply the grant starting there, use the money for the bridge, which has always been somewhat difficult because of the cost. But we can put that bridge in, the engineering up the other side, and a lot of that work down in the bottom around the creek, we can use this grant for. So, and Greg is here with us tonight as well. He is the grant expert. So I'm gonna let you have a chance to talk to him in just a second, but, so what we'd like to do, we'd like to complete the recreational trail from Pine Point, just around the corner to the dam. Then that sets us up, if we were lucky enough to be a recipient of this grant. The grant will be announced next year at this time. So there is some time this summer to get that completed. The grant increments, the maximum amount for award is $250,000. The total grant program is 1.2 mil. Okay, so it's gonna be a very competitive grant, but we'd like to think ours is just as good as anybody else's, our application, so. That's kind of the plan. I anticipated who wasn't gonna be here this evening, and I made some phone calls. I talked to Cookie, I talked to Don Cook, and I talked with Bill Scott, and of course Lori is very much on board. But Don was, and Bill both were adamant about, they were in agreement to utilize the gambling funds. And even Mr. Cook said, go ahead and include the admin fee for the preparing the grant out of the gambling funds as well. But anyway, that's what we'd like to do tonight. We would just like to have permission from you to have Benton's complete the application. And then next council meeting, prior to next council meeting, we'll have a public hearing. And then the grant gets submitted. It has to be turned in by March 14th. So it's a very tight timeline for us to get everything completed and get it turned in. But this is a great way to get the bridge and a lot of that engineering and stuff done that was always kind of a problem in the past. But I guess now we ready for any questions anyone might have?
What's the match on this?
80-20 grant.
80-20, so 250 and then 50 for us.
Can we use the gambling funds as a match, or we gotta use what?
You can use any funds you want, city funds.
You can pay for it. You can pay for it.
No, we'll take it out of your account. You save money, man, you drive the scooter, we're good.
There will be some-
anything. I mean, I just wanna make sure it's not, cause sometimes grants, you can't use a state fund that you've got something else from as a match.
Not that I'm aware of, that's something we can look into, double check that, okay? But, there will be a resolution for you to pass at hopefully the February 25th meeting. We'll be bringing a resolution for that. It's just saying that you have the funding for your $50,000. There will be an application fee, a small fee with that, but we'll be breaking all that down when we present this at the next council meeting. Tonight, Kelly is just asking if it's okay to go ahead and start the grant application process.
There is a resolution to allow Benton's to prepare the application, and that is tonight.
Any other questions?
I guess this is directed to Craig, but we can include Mark in this since you work for Benton Associates. I saw you guys won a grant for Beerstown for the marina recently,
3 grants.
and you also won a grant for Winchester for the pool, so hopefully this could be your hat trick.
Well,
Great.
we are,
3 in a row.
well, we got Carlinville pool too,
Got
so
3.
this will be our 4th. We'll be even better, that's right, so thank you.
Any other questions? I went through that real fast, but what we'd like to do is get completed from Pine Point to the dam, and then we're all set up, ready for this grant if we get approved, and we would move then forward with going on to the south. Okay?
I got no problem completing, what do you think that's gonna take to get that?
It is $80,000 to get from Pine Point to the dam. And I already have those estimated amounts and everything from Bill and from Greg. It's about the same amount we used last year out of that fund.
Good use for the funds.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing, so I'd like to think, so. It's special projects, and this is a great project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Planning and Public Works, Alderman Scott.
2 items, discuss approving preliminary plat for Lot C of Country Club Hills.
You want, maybe,
You can, or
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Mike Hayes, out at Country Club Hills, has submitted a preliminary plat for a 12-unit, 6-building, 12-unit duplex portion of it. It's gonna be a private drive. It's gonna be right as you come in off of Morton to the right. It's just one small piece of what he's doing out there, but he wants to get that started fairly quick. It connects to whatever the north-south road is that the city will eventually take in dedication. There were no real objections at all at planning commission.
But I think after talking with Kelly, there was some, there's not sidewalks and they got the lighting in it. So usually the city, now it's private, keep in mind, but over the years historically, we've had folks, and there's one gonna be coming to us shortly, private streets or drives that they want the city to take over. Well, this really doesn't hit the specs of what the city would make, if we were to do this, we would, charge them to do, or not charge them, we would do sidewalks, we would do curb and gutter, we'd do lighting, we would have it up to what the city wants. Well, this is private, they can do whatever they want, but I know the discussion was that Kelly, at least they said, hey, we'll do some lighting. Is that enough? The planning commission said, yeah, that was fine with them, but ultimately it's the city. I mean, I don't think they'll ever, who knows what in the future, we probably won't be around, but I can see a day where they might say, oh, city, you can take it over. Who knows though? I don't know, I mean, I can't predict.
And the issue is that the street's not gonna be wide enough, even if they did it completely to the construction requirements as far as depth and materials. The street's not gonna be wide enough to take on. So the city will never be in a position to accept dedication of this. And I think the Plans Commission, as long as they were assured of that.
Gilmore Estates is an example of, it's kind of the same thing off of Kendick. The streets are more narrow, and that's private, they get their own snow. The city doesn't do the snow and things like that, but I think it's a good project what Mike's doing. I mean, I think we can all agree to that, and I think this is just step one for him, but
So he just wants permission to.
just to go.
I mean, that's his,
Yeah.
his stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only thing you have to be careful of is when you accept subdivisions that aren't built to city specifications, then down the road, you have to deal with that when you're requested for that property to become city property.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out what you're saying on that level. So he's gonna put them in there because it's private, but later down the road, okay, we're gonna give it to the city. Well, then the city says no because we want it under these specs.
Yeah.
So if they don't match the city specs, then we don't take it.
Exactly.
Well,
And that's what we talked about.
that's kind of the point, but that's one of the discussions that you're involved in right now, or the mayor and Dan and I. But I just caution the council against accepting developments that are not to city specification, and then later they ask to be dedicated to the city. That creates problems. And it was noted by Les as well as myself in the comments that you have to be careful with that. This day and age, I don't think it's that hard to put in curbs, gutters on the streets and sidewalks and that type of thing. That probably doesn't add 2% to the cost of the development. But nevertheless, they can ask for what they want. We have a relatively new planning commission, and don't get me wrong, they do their job, and I'm grateful for that, and you should be too, but we got to just be careful in the future about accepting developments that are not to city specification.
So how does this compare to Applebee's subdivision? Because those are private streets, right? Applebee's on the north side, those are all private roads, aren't they?
No,
those
Place
are-
is the only private road.
Yeah, everything in Applebee is public, is dedicated.
I thought there was one private, there's one private.
Laura Place is
Okay.
private, unless they've dedicated it
Oh,
recently.
yeah, Laura is, right.
One thing that's a bit different about this one too is that he does not intend to sell the duplex units. They're rental units. So we're not gonna face the same situation we are with another subdivision right now, where there are several property owners saying, hey, take our street so we don't have to pay privately. It's only gonna be one owner of this complex. He's gonna own it now. If he ever sells it, the next owner will take it knowing the city would not accept dedication.
I thought they had some plans, some sort of like walking path and a Spatsky revival and all sorts of.
There is, this would be just,
That's the next phase.
this would be just east of where the winery is supposed to be there on the corner.
And review the planning, at this level, they're just gonna ask, because you said they don't have to meet specs, so they're not gonna put in gutter or anything. Is that gonna cause a drainage issue coming down into Morton's?
It's hard to tell at this point, honestly, Jeff, it's hard to
Will
tell.
we be dealing with their runoff?
I mean, it was, the detention that was built into, and stormwater was all built into the subdivision when it was originally platted. So Morton is aware, IDOT's aware that that water's coming their direction.
Okay.
You know, and it is designed to be detained as our requirements require in that regard. It's just the different things like the streets and sidewalks and lighting and all of that. When you have a private development, you call it private, you can omit all of that stuff. And I just caution you in doing very much of that. Why have the specifications if you're not gonna use them,
No.
you know?
Yeah.
I guess my question is this. What is our recommendation for doing this? Then, I mean, I'm listening to Kelly, we wanna get this done, but I'm listening to Kelly with a reservation. And so, I'm not,
It was a planning committee and they said it's okay.
Yeah, we also have a plans commission that went through and they said they wanted it.
and so you didn't bring this up at the planning commission?
Oh, very much,
It'd be six
very
units.
much.
Well, planning commission is.
Six buildings, 2 units of this.
I mean, I don't really have a problem with it, it's kind of double-minded, and that's always been my big thing, if in fact that individuals who are the experts are telling me one thing, I just have a problem with being double-minded, so I don't really have a problem with this, the road, I just would much rather would be more,
Proactive.
more cohesive, or,
Yeah, we certainly don't wanna stop progress.
No.
I mean, we all can agree to that, it's just,
Oh,
there are
the
things that
seniors
come to my
center.
desk that, and there's one coming up of a private, and all the individuals in this, they want the city to take it over, and we're gonna have a, you know, you're gonna see people, they're really wanting that, and it's tough ask.
Just down the road, just be careful of accepting too many of these private situations.
I can understand that.
You know, I certainly want this to go too, I'm not saying that at all, you know, but just, when I'm not here, be careful. Nobody be here.
Does he need our approval to do this?
Yeah,
These are existing streets, or these ones?
no, that's, that one street's new.
And it has sidewalk?
No,
And so is there any way to make him meet the standards of the city, or it's kind of this done deal, the streets aren't wide enough now and it's.
No,
Well-
if you deny this, then this project would go away because the space he's talking about is not big enough to have regulation size roads or sidewalks.
So are those streets through streets? Any of them?
No, it's just a little
It's
U-shaped
a
road.
horseshoe.
It's kinda like a
So
horseshoe.
when I put my little baby in a carriage and I walk through my neighborhood and there's no streets, cause I walk all behind Balgy and stuff like that, and there's not really any traffic that goes through there. And I felt completely safe with my kid in a stroller on the street because it was kinda like a cul-de-sac. Not really, but I mean, there was not
Exactly.
through traffic. So it's the same thing there, it's like your kid can go play in the street there because no one's gonna be there unless they're a neighbor coming into their house.
Pretty much.
And it does connect to the main street going back up to where the housing is along the golf course. And that street will have full construction requirements met with curb and gutters, sidewalks, lights, everything else. So in essence, inside their little 6-unit complex, they're on their own as far as no sidewalks. But as soon as they move out of there, they hit sidewalks going on up to the main subdivision.
So does that have potential to be like gated, where it's limited access for who gets in?
It could, but I'm sure that he wouldn't. It's not that big of an area. And again, these are 2-bedroom,
Two-bedroom
1-car
duplex.
garage units.
And
So
they have
they're
to-
small units.
They have to shovel their own snow or clear
Yeah,
their
they have to
streets.
have private snow removal, private maintenance of the streets.
I mean, it's in the ward, I agree with it, I think that would be a wonderful addition. I just don't want us as a city to have to take on something that we're going to end up inevitably having to spend money on. But as it is, as long as there's language that says, that, you know, we're not going to be able to take this over because it doesn't fit standard. I'm good with that, because he already knows that, and I trust him well enough to know how to take care of his business.
It's gotta be done. There's
Any
no
other
question about that.
discussion?
It's dedicated. The water and sewer.
Okay, next up, number 2, you want me to cover that?
Discuss municipal services department surplus vehicle.
You, at the last meeting, you, were very good about letting the folks get rid of some of these vehicles. Well, there was one that slipped through the cracks, and we're just adding one. Less is big,
1993 Chevy truck.
yeah. We're trying
Carson
to.
Lake doesn't need it?
No, no.
Bruce Surratt's not out there anymore.
Oh, all right, all
Let's
right.
take it off.
So we're just adding to
Never know.
and Sally and Les are formulating a plan on how to, auction them and, you know, more to come on that. Outside of that,
The government deals website.
yeah, I think that's really one.
Great idea, Steve.
Any public comment?
That's what we pay for IML. Steal idea.
Any public comment? Hey, Mayor, did they tell you 6:30? I mean, to be here by 6:30?
By 6:30.
Okay, well, it's probably close, isn't it? All right, we will adjourn workshop and we'll go into the business.
Aaron, is this your?